The world sees her, but it does not always recognize her. She moves through life with grace, with depth, with passion, but she is overlooked. She loves deeply, but her love is not always returned. She gives endlessly, but few give back to her. She is the unloved woman. But what the world fails to see is that an unloved woman is not a broken woman. She is a woman who has not yet been seen by the right eyes. Too often she has been told she is too much or not enough, too emotional, too strong, too independent, too complicated. Or maybe she has been made to feel invisible, as if her presence is not needed, as if her love is not valuable. And in those moments, she starts to believe a dangerous lie, that her worth is tied to the love she receives. But here's the truth. Love does not define her. Her response to being unloved does. Because an unloved woman has two choices. She can shrink into the emptiness, let it consume her, let it convince her she is unworthy, or she can rise. She can use that emptiness as a space to build herself. Some of the strongest women in history were once unloved. They were dismissed, ignored, underestimated, and yet they refused to let that define them. Being unloved does not mean being unworthy. Too often we equate love with value, as if the presence or absence of love from others determines our worth. When a woman feels unloved, whether in a relationship within her family or among friends, it is easy for her to question herself. Am I not good enough? Am I too much? Too little? What is wrong with me? But these are the wrong questions. The real question is this. The truth is, love from others is not a certification of worth. It is not a scorecard. It is not proof that a person is valuable. A woman's worth is inherent. It is not something that increases when she is loved or decreases when she is ignored. The greatest mistake is believing that being unloved is the same as being unlovable. They are not the same. Sometimes the reason love does not come has nothing to do with the woman at all. It has to do with the people around her, their limitations, their blindness, their inability to see what is right in front of them. There are women who give endlessly, who pour their hearts into people who do not appreciate them, and in return they are met with silence, indifference, or even rejection. That rejection is not proof that she is lacking. It is proof that the people she is giving to are not capable of receiving. A woman must understand that just because someone does not recognize her value does not mean that value does not exist. If a diamond is buried in the dirt and no one sees it, does that make it worthless? If a masterpiece hangs in a dark room where no one visits, does that mean it is not beautiful? A woman's worth is not up for debate, and it is certainly not something that others get to decide. Yet it is hard to feel valuable when love is absent. It is human nature to seek connection, to want to be seen, to crave being understood and cherished. And when that does not happen, it is easy to spiral into self-doubt. But the most powerful shift happens when a woman stops looking outward for validation and starts looking inward for confirmation of her own greatness. Instead of asking, why doesn't he love me? Why don't they appreciate me? The question should be, do I love myself? Do I appreciate myself? Because the most dangerous thing is not being unloved. It is believing that being unloved means being unworthy. That belief is what leads to chasing after the wrong people, settling for less than she deserves, and shrinking herself in the hopes of being chosen. The moment a woman realizes that her worth is not determined by others, she becomes unstoppable. She no longer begs for love. She no longer settles for crumbs of attention. She no longer waits to be chosen. Instead, she starts choosing herself. She starts building a life where her value is non-negotiable. And in doing so, she attracts the kind of love that is real, the kind that sees her, respects her, and values her not because she had to prove herself worthy, but because she always was. So if a woman feels unloved, let her remember this. Her worth is not diminished by the blindness of others. The love she seeks starts within. And once she fully embraces that, she will never again mistake being unloved for being unworthy. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences a woman can go through. Whether it comes from a relationship, a friendship, a family member, or even society, being dismissed or overlooked can leave deep scars. It can make her question everything about herself, her worth, her attractiveness, her intelligence, even her existence. She starts wondering, was I not good enough? Did I say the wrong thing? Am I too much? But here's the truth that changes everything. Rejection is not a reflection of her. It is a reflection of them. When someone rejects a woman, it does not automatically mean she is lacking. It does not mean she is unworthy, undesirable, or unlovable. It simply means that the other person could not see, could not appreciate, or could not handle what she had to offer. And that is about them, not her. Too often we assign too much meaning to rejection. We treat it as a personal failure, as if we have been measured, weighed, and found wanting. But rejection is rarely about what we lack. More often, it is about the limitations of the one doing the rejecting. A person may reject what they do not understand. They may reject what they are not ready for. They may reject what they fear, what intimidates them, or what challenges them. A strong, intelligent, independent woman may be rejected not because she is not enough, but because she is too much for someone who is insecure. A deeply emotional, kind, and giving woman may be rejected not because she is lacking, but because the other person is incapable of receiving that kind of love. The truth is, rejection often says more about the one rejecting than the one being rejected. It reveals their preferences, their fears, their blind spots, their limitations. And sometimes rejection is a gift in disguise, a painful but necessary redirection away from people who were never meant to be part of her life. Think about it. If a woman bends over backward trying to gain the approval of someone who does not value her, she is wasting time that could be spent finding people who do. If she keeps chasing after the person who rejected her, she is delaying her own growth. When a door closes, it is not a signal to shrink herself in the hopes of fitting through it. It is a sign that she was never meant to walk through it in the first place. Some of the strongest, most successful, and most fulfilled women in the world were once rejected. They were told no, they were ignored, they were overlooked. But they did not let that rejection define them. Instead, they let it refine them. They took it as proof that they were playing in the wrong field, that they were meant for something bigger, that the right opportunities and the right people would never require them to beg. A woman who understands this truth stops taking rejection personally. She stops internalizing it as a sign of her inadequacy. She stops chasing after people who do not see her value. Instead, she lets them go. She makes peace with the fact that not everyone will love her, not everyone will choose her, and not everyone will see her for who she truly is. And that is okay. Because the right people, the ones who genuinely appreciate her, respect her, and love her, will never make her feel like she has to earn their acceptance. Rejection is not a reflection of her worth. It is a reflection of their ability to recognize it. And the moment she understands this, she stops fearing rejection and starts seeing it for what it truly is, a blessing that clears the way for something better. Loneliness is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life. It is often seen as a punishment, a curse, or a sign that something is wrong. People fear it, avoid it, and sometimes even settle for less than they deserve just to escape it. But the truth is, loneliness is not something to run from. It is something to embrace. Because loneliness is not just emptiness. It is a space for growth. The world teaches us that being alone is bad. That if a woman is not in a relationship, if she does not have a certain number of friends, or if she spends too much time with herself, something must be wrong. But what if being alone was not a weakness? What if it was an opportunity? What if, instead of trying to fill the silence, she leaned into it and listened? When a woman is alone, she has the chance to hear herself in a way she never could when surrounded by noise. She begins to see who she really is, not who others expect her to be, not who she pretends to be, but who she is at her core. And that is where real growth begins. Loneliness is the space where she can rebuild herself. It is where she can finally ask, what do I truly want? What kind of life do I want to create? Who am I when no one is watching? These are questions that cannot be answered when she is constantly distracted by people, relationships, and obligations. There is power in solitude. Some of the strongest, most successful, and most self-aware people in history spent long periods alone. They did not see loneliness as a prison. They saw it as a training ground. They used that time to grow, to learn, to sharpen their minds, and strengthen their spirits. And when they finally stepped back into the world, they were not desperate for approval, love, or validation. They knew who they were, and that confidence changed everything. Loneliness also teaches resilience. A woman who has learned to stand on her own is a woman who cannot be broken. She does not fear being alone because she has made peace with it. She does not stay in toxic relationships just to avoid solitude. She does not accept less than she deserves out of desperation. She understands that being alone is better than being in the wrong company. But here is the most beautiful part. When a woman embraces loneliness as a space for growth, she transforms, she evolves, she becomes someone so strong, so self-assured, so in love with her own company, that she stops seeking validation from the outside world. And ironically, that is when she starts attracting the right people. Not because she needs them, but because her energy has shifted. She is no longer looking for someone to complete her. She is already whole. Loneliness is not despair. It is a doorway to self-discovery, to strength, to independence. It is a season of life that, when used wisely, can turn a woman into the most unstoppable version of herself. So if she finds herself alone, let her not see it as a punishment, let her see it as an invitation to grow, to heal, and to become the woman she was always meant to be. She is not waiting to be chosen. She is not standing in the shadows, hoping that someone will finally see her, validate her, or tell her that she is worthy. She is not holding her breath, waiting for a man, a job, or a friend to give her permission to shine. Because she already knows her worth, and she refuses to let it be defined by whether or not someone else recognizes it. For too long, women have been conditioned to believe that being chosen is the ultimate goal. Chosen for a relationship, chosen for a promotion, chosen for a certain lifestyle. The message has been clear. If you are chosen, you are valuable. If you are not, something must be wrong with you. But this belief is flawed because it places power in the hands of others. It suggests that a woman's worth is something to be determined by an outside force rather than something she already possesses. A woman who knows her value does not wait for anyone to choose her. She chooses herself. She decides that she is worthy of love, success, and happiness, whether or not anyone else acknowledges it. She builds her own life, her own dreams, her own happiness, and in doing so, she becomes the kind of woman who attracts the right people, not because she is desperate to be picked, but because her energy radiates confidence, self-respect, and fulfillment. The truth is, waiting to be chosen is a powerless position. It means sitting still, hoping that someone else will take action, rather than stepping forward and creating the life she deserves. It means accepting whatever is given instead of demanding what she truly desires. It means allowing others to dictate her value rather than defining it for herself. But when a woman stops waiting, everything changes. She starts setting standards instead of settling. She starts walking away from situations that do not serve her. She stops wasting time on people who are unsure about her and starts investing in herself. She becomes bold enough to ask for what she wants, confident enough to walk alone if necessary, and powerful enough to create her own opportunities. A woman who chooses herself does not beg for love. She does not chase after attention. She does not lower her standards just to be accepted. She understands that true love, true respect, and true success are not things that need to be forced. They come naturally when she steps into her power and refuses to shrink herself for anyone. Some might say that this kind of confidence is intimidating. And to the wrong people, it is. Those who are insecure, who thrive on control, who expect a woman to be passive and dependent, they will find her strength overwhelming. But to the right people, to the ones who truly appreciate her, it is magnetic. A woman who is secure in herself does not repel love. She attracts the kind of love that is real, strong, and worthy of her. She is not waiting to be chosen because she is already enough. She does not need someone else's approval to validate her existence. She does not need to fit into society's narrow definition of success, beauty, or desirability. She is already whole. And when a woman truly understands this, she becomes unstoppable. So let her stand tall, let her walk boldly, let her embrace her power, because she is not waiting, she is living. Her strength is built in the shadows, where no one is watching, where no applause is given, where the real battles are fought in silence. It is easy to admire a strong woman when she stands tall in the light, when she speaks with confidence, when she moves through the world with certainty. But what most people do not see is where that strength was forged. Strength is not built in moments of success. It is built in the moments of struggle, in the quiet hours when no one is there to witness the fight. A strong woman is not born, she is made. She is made in the moments when she had to wipe her own tears because no one else was there to comfort her. She is made in the nights she spent doubting herself but still chose to rise the next morning. She is made in the sacrifices she never speaks about, the burdens she carries without complaint, and the silent battles she fights within herself. Strength is not something that appears overnight. It is developed over time, through pain, through resilience, through learning to stand up even when the world tries to knock her down. People see the confident woman, the one who seems fearless, the one who does not break easily. What they do not see is the loneliness she endured to become that way. They do not see the rejections that shaped her, the heartbreaks that taught her, or the betrayals that strengthened her. They do not see the countless times she had to choose herself when no one else would. She does not seek validation for her struggle. She does not need to prove her strength to anyone. She knows that the hardest battles are fought internally, and the victories that matter most are the ones no one else will ever know about. She has learned that true strength is not about appearing invincible. It is about enduring, growing, and refusing to be defeated by the things meant to break her. The world often admires strength, but does not always appreciate what it takes to build it. People want to see the success, the confidence, the unshakable woman who has it all together. But the truth is, she did not get there easily. She was shaped in the moments of silence, in the times when she felt invisible, in the struggle she overcame alone. She has faced moments when she wanted to give up, when the weight of everything felt too heavy, when she questioned if she was strong enough to keep going. But she did. She kept going. Not because it was easy, not because she had all the answers, but because she refused to let the darkness define her. And that is what makes her powerful. Not the way she stands in the light, but the way she fought through the darkness to get there. Not the way people admire her now, but the way she built herself when no one was looking. She does not need recognition. She does not need approval. She knows who she is because she has faced herself in the hardest moments and come out stronger Her strength was built in the shadows, and because of that, she will never fear the light. The right love finds those who refuse to settle for the wrong one. It does not come to those who chase desperately, who cling to relationships that drain them, or who fear being alone more than being in the wrong company. The right love arrives when a woman understands her worth, when she sets standards, and when she refuses to let loneliness or societal pressure push her into settling for something less than she deserves. Too often, people convince themselves that any love is better than no love. They stay in relationships that do not fulfill them, hoping things will get better. They ignore red flags, make excuses, and lower their expectations just to avoid the discomfort of solitude. But a woman who values herself knows that settling for the wrong person only delays the right one. She knows that real love, the kind that is deep, true, and lasting, cannot be forced. It must be earned. A woman who refuses to settle is not bitter, nor is she too demanding. She simply understands that love is not about finding someone just to fill a space. It is about finding someone who adds to her life, who respects her, who sees her for who she truly is, and who is willing to grow with her. She does not waste time on relationships that drain her energy, dim her light, or make her feel small. Instead, she focuses on herself, on her growth, her happiness, her goals, knowing that the right person will recognize her value without her having to convince them. The right love is not something that needs to be chased. It is not something that requires endless compromises, pain, or self-sacrifice. It is not about proving one's worth to someone who cannot see it. It is about alignment. The right love finds a woman when she is fully herself, when she is living in her truth, when she is not trying to fit into a mold just to be loved. This does not mean that waiting is easy. There will be moments of doubt. There will be times when she questions if she is expecting too much, if she is being unrealistic, if maybe she should settle like everyone else. But deep down, she knows that settling always leads to regret. It leads to resentment. It leads to waking up one day and realizing that she gave up parts of herself just to keep a relationship that was never truly meant for her. A woman who refuses to settle is not afraid of being alone. She understands that being single is not a curse. It is a time of preparation. It is a season where she grows into the best version of herself, where she learns what she truly wants, and where she develops the strength to walk away from anything that does not serve her. And when the right love finally comes, she will recognize it, not because it is perfect, but because it is real. It will feel different. It will not require her to shrink, to beg, or to prove her worth. It will challenge her, support her, and push her to grow in ways she never imagined. And she will know without a doubt that all the waiting, all the loneliness, and all the time she walked away from the wrong people were worth it. Because the right love does not come to those who settle. It comes to those who are brave enough to wait, grow, and believe they deserve more.